I'll pay. I'll up.
Powers of sine and cos. In N5 we did sine, sine squared, sine cubed, cos, cos squared, cos cubed. So we now need to deal with the power 4 and 5. So what you need to remember are the rules for even powers and the rule for odd powers. So 4. So 4 is an even power. When we have an even power, we use our double angle formula. The double angle formula is sine squared of bx, which will equal to half into 1 minus cos of 2 times bx. If you have cos squared of bx, the only difference is the sign, so that will be 1 plus cos of 2bx. That's the rules for even powers. Now, that formula comes from our double angle formula, and it's sine squared. But this is not sine squared. So we can use our exponent laws. Let's rewrite this as having a square. So that's going to be sine squared all squared. Now follow? From our exponent laws, 2 times 2 will give you 4. Now, you look at that formula, sine squared bx. B is the coefficient of x. 6 is the coefficient of x here. So b is 6. Right. So now let's apply that formula. So sine squared of bx, sine squared of 6x, that will be half into 1 minus, you can see there 1 minus cos of 2 times b. So what is b here?
6.
B is 6. So 2 times b, 2 times 6 will be, so that will be 12x. And this whole thing has to be squared. All I did was rewrite sine squared in a different form. But remember, sine squared has to be squared. Now, we need to square this. So, we have a constant here, 1 over 2. Okay, we need to square 1 over 2. We also need to square 1 minus cos of 12x. So, I'm going to square the 1 over 2. And my constant, I'll always write it in front. So, that will be 1 over 2 squared. And this will be 1 minus cos of 12x all squared. So now, 1 over 2 squared, that will be 1 over 4. 1 minus cos of 12x all squared. How do we square when we have just 2 terms? You square the first term, 1 squared, that will be 1. Then the middle term, how do you get the middle term? It's always the first multiplied by the second multiplied by 2, no matter what it is. Okay, that's how you square when you have 2 terms. First multiplied by the second, so 1 times minus cos of 12x is minus cos of 12x, times 2 is minus 2 cos 12x. Then the last term, you take the second term and you square it. So a negative squared, that will be positive cos squared of 12x, that's dx. Now, we can integrate 1, we can integrate cos 12x, but here we have another square. Can you see that? So now, we go to cos squared. So, I got my cos squared of 12x, which I can write down as half. There's a half here. 1 plus cos 2bx. So 1 plus cos of 2b. What is your b now? Now your b is 12. So 2b means 2 times b. It means 2 times 12. So that will be 24x. Right, so you can integrate here, or maybe you want to just simplify first. Let's just simplify this here. So that is 1 minus 2 cos of 12x. Half times 1 there, that will be half. Half times cos of 24x, so that will be half cos 24x. That's your dx. You can integrate, or maybe you want to just work out these constants. We got 1 plus half there. Can you see that? So if you want to, you can add 1 plus half, which is 1 and a half, which is 3 over 2. So if you simplify it, you only end up with just 1, 2, 3 terms to integrate. Can you see that? But if you do not simplify it, then you end up with like 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we can integrate this. There's your 1 over 4. We can integrate 3 over 2. What do we get there? That's going to be 3 over 2x. You integrate cos. That's going to be minus 2 sine of 12x, all divided by 12. Here we got plus half. Integrate cos again. That will be sine 24x, all divided by 24. Plus c. You're done. You can just use your calculator and multiply. So I can simplify this 2 over 12. 2 over 12, that will be minus 1 over 6. Here, it's 2 times 24, that will be 48. You can leave your answer like this. It's unnecessary to multiply out the 1 over 4. Alright, so here, this is a recipe. It doesn't change. If you got an odd even power, you use your double angle. If it's a power 4, use your exponent law, square it. It'll always be the same. The only thing that can change is the values, the coefficient of x, or you can be given a question where it's not signed. Right, you can take this down.